come when elections are called in this constituency, there's going to be no stopping. I am proud to be part of a team that will be led by Mayor Mottley. I commend Mayor Amor Mottley to you. I am commending her to you not because she's a woman, because there are 3 women running against me. And if you combine all 3 of them together, they should not get 1 single vote in total. I am commending Mayor to you because she is the best person for the job at this time. I am be leading this country in the next election, and who will be leading this country in the next election. Under Mayor Amor Mottley, Barbados will be no laughing stock. She has the composure, she has the experience, she has the discipline, she has the resolve to be the leader of Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Mayor Amor Mottley. Mayor is my leader. Mayor is the party's leader. And in a very short while, Mayor Amor Mottley will be the Prime Minister of Barbados.
We stand aside and wait. Ronald Toppin, my brother and my member of parliament. Today, and whenever the next election shall be called, I shall be voting for Ronald Sinclair Toppin. Ladies and gentlemen, family, it is a good thing for us to gather tonight at Montgomery Pasture. And I ask you, as we see the minutes tick away before tomorrow night, when I said to you in St. Lucie that there would be 5 more weeks. And then I said to you in Bank Hall, 4 more weeks. And then I said to you in St. Philip, 3 more weeks. And it almost has seemed that nothing has happened to make your life or our lives any better in this country. A government has remained steadfastly consumed with their own survival. They have brought to Parliament only those things that they deem necessary for the political advancement, not of your welfare, your well-being, but of their prosperity. Even down to the last desperate act of giving you back that which they took from you 4 years ago, the $1,300 reverse tax credit. Even down to wanting to fight against the ruling of the Chief Justice as he determined who should be eligible to vote in this our fair land. But I haven't come here tonight to talk to you about those things. I have come here tonight to speak to you from the heart. Because tomorrow marks the end of this chapter and the beginning of a new chapter. Tomorrow marks the beginning of the start of the long journey. And I say to you tonight that I have come simply to address one question and one question alone. Why am I here? And I want you to listen to me tonight like you've never listened before. Because you need to understand that when I start this journey as of tonight, you must never ask yourself why I'm here. And as I reflected on tonight's speech, I remembered the words delivered by a man called Father Andrew Hatch. I was a little girl. I was only 7 years old, tops in your family's church and my family's church, St. Mary's Church. And it was the funeral of my grandfather, a man called Ernest Dighton Mottley. And on that evening, that afternoon, a woman called Pushan of blessed memory. A lot of people in this crowd know Pushan. Yes, Jeffrey. Lived there in Cat's Castle. And Pushan lifted me up and she put me to kiss what I realized soon then was my grandfather, but was a cold body. And that stayed with me for weeks. Every night, I couldn't sleep. But the other thing that I remembered, I grew out of the nightmare of kissing a cold body. But what I never grew out of was the words of Andrew Hatch. Who did he think he was? And it seemed to me that every 2 minutes, this man up in this pulpit kept saying, who did he think he was? And therefore tonight, on the dissolution of what will be my 6th parliament from 1991, the first as a senator, and with the blessings of the people of St. Michael Northeast, the others as a member of the House of Assembly, I come here tonight to address you about why I am here. I am not motivated by money, but I think you know that. I am not motivated or fascinated by houses and cars. You know that. I live up the hill, short there in Lodge Hill. And this meeting has not come here by accident, Two Tops, because I want to welcome people to my home and to me tonight. Because you must know what you are getting yourself into when I ask you to walk with me. I am not fascinated by the trappings of office. I have served as this country's Deputy Prime Minister, and only a few have ever done it. I have chaired cabinet more times than most. But it is not those things that move me today. What drives me is helping people. What drives me is making a difference in the lives of many of you that I see in this audience as I walk through tonight. What drives me is feeling proud about being a Bajan. And I will tell you a foolish story of a young foolish girl in London in the middle of winter walking up and down Oxford Street with a young girl called Jackie Kaiser, another Bajan. And on the 30th of November, we playing foolish and we walking up and down. God bless Bim on Independence Day. And we singing it proud because we were hurting not to be home on Independence Day. I have come here tonight to tell you that when I see the flag wave or when I see West Indies win a match, I, like you, got goose pimples. I have come here tonight to tell you that when I see my people suffer or when I hear that a homeless woman is killed in this country, that it hurts my heart. I have come here tonight to share with you that when you see people sleeping in shift-in housing units because the housing units were built for mother and children or mother, father, and children, and now the place got the whole great-grandmother, grandmother, children, and parents, that they know that something is wrong with our country. I was raised by parents who loved me and who caused me through their love to let me know that I could be anything and anybody that I wanted to be. And I thank them publicly for that. I had a head teacher, Avis Carrington, who believed that I should be able to go in any class that I was capable of performing in, even if the law meant that I could not sit the exam for 3 years. And I waited 3 years in the class to sit the 11 plus. And when my parents came back from New York and we had 10 months left, she said, well, it don't make no sense even wearing a school uniform, just stay there because you've been in this class for 2 years running, this is now the third. And when I went into the Ministry of Education, I knew that I had to do something about flexible transfer because children don't move at the same level. Some move slow and some move fast. You know it better than me. I had the benefit of grandparents and parents who said to me, you got to talk to everybody who walk in this house. And believe you me, in Eagle Hall, it was from Gearbox to Tom Adams. And you had to speak to everyone. We worked and played with the people in the neighborhood. Marty Marshall's children, Farmer Brown and Reds and Jimmy of blessed memory, Ding Daka, Poison, all of them. There were people who came and danced with Rontana. I knew Charlie Griffith not from bowling at Kensington, but from bowling on a concrete hard stand, playing softball cricket in the yard. And we had to deal with everybody, whatever their station in life. My grandparents, my grandfather was larger than ever there. But the other grandfather I worked with learning to print and develop in Swan Street and in St. Michael's Row in his studios, black and white shots. And I had to deal with everybody who came in the studio the same way. And when he sent me downstairs to buy stuff in Swan Street as a 7 and an 8-year-old, I went. I am telling you these things because you need to understand that when I tell you that this government does not care, why I have been raised to believe that you have to care. And you must do all in your power in this country to care about people. I had to catch the bus if I wanted to go to town from my grandparents' house in Sergeant's Village. And you went from Ford's Road. My two grandmothers believed that you had to go to church. One drove and carried us to James Street, and the other called her brother, who, yes, Frondel, is David Commijon, father, Reverend Commijon. And he took me to James Street for tutelage in Sunday school. We are a people who are raised by a village. And I want my young people in this country to continue to be raised by a village, not to be frightened about walking on the streets or going to the shop or catching buses in this country. We used to walk with my cousin Hector to go to the Roxy, you remember that? For matinee on a Saturday. I was imbued with a passion for the arts and for history and for culture by my uncle Elombe. I call him Elton, you call him Elombe. By my godmother, Rachel Springer. And a cousin of mine from Trinidad who taught me to question and not to accept things blindly. And God bless her because she died last year and I miss her, and her name is Amor Mottley. Her daughter lives in this country now. There were other people who helped raise me, like Carol Jacobs, who was like a big sister. There were people in this party and elsewhere in the Democratic Labour Party who helped raise me. Because we lived in a Barbados that was for all Bajans. Billy Miller nurtured me when I got my A-level results. Billy said, Lord, you did as you said you would. I had to come home to help persuade my father that I could go to university because he wanted me to go back to school and do the scholarship. But I wasn't interested. Henry Ford took me and helped nurtured me as he did with Toppin and Liz and all of us who came out in those early days after the most difficult defeat the Barbados Labour Party ever had. And I say to you tonight that whether it was the words of Eric Williams in Inward Hunger, or from Columbus to Castro, or Michael Manley in The Politics of Change that I read before I was 13, I knew that I had a duty to give back to my country because that was who God sent me to be. And it wasn't all politics. I like music. I manage a band. John King was the lead singer in my band. You know that too. Signature. I start jazz at the waterfront. I like music. I like crop over. Would I know that? I used to rush and go to every judge in that crop over. I had a stall at Spring Garden with Hopi of blessed memory. Every one of them boys in that family was called Dove Boy, you remember? And we had it first year on the other side of the road, second year by Piley. And yes, Frondell, I call him Uncle Errol because he was like a grandfather to me. And yes, Frondell, he did me a favor in 1986 when he said, girl, I come in there just after they won that big same victory. And I didn't quite understand the significance of what he meant by it. But he sat down in that shop from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the night. And I never see so many people buy pork chops for the same man yet in my life. I never see so many people buy bottles of Tanqueray for the same man yet in my life. But the point that I am making, that whether it was Hugh Springer telling me, do not ever let anybody let you feel ashamed to be a black woman in this country, I had the benefit of people who held me up as I want to hold you up, as my team wants to hold you up in this country tonight. Not to believe that we can do better, as this government wants you to believe, but to understand that in us is a spirit that is blessed, is a history that is great and noble, is a future that is ours to craft. And I have come here on the dissolution of this parliament that will mark the worst decade in our history of an independent nation. To tell you that I know why I came to public life and why I am still here. I know why I joined the Barbados Labour Party. Because I know that when I read Hoyas and saw what Grantley Adams did to bring people out of the fields, saw what Grantley Adams did to stop poor people from being unfared, to have money docked from the salary when they borrowed a little something because somebody in the family get ill. And he said, no, you can only deduct weekly so much from a man or a woman's salary because they have to live every week and that they deserve a holiday. and that this country will not grow unless it opens up. And he formed the development board and started the tourism industry going, and the IDC precursor going, and opened up and got rid of Pelican Island so that Barbados could have a deep water harbor that would open it up in trade to the rest of the world. I know what it was as a child myself to hear when Tom Adams announced in budgets that Barbadians should have the right to have tax allowances for putting solar water heaters in their homes. A fact today that makes us have a higher percentage of solar water heaters than any other country in the Caribbean. Or when he said that you should get a tax allowance for saving in the credit unions. I know what Tom Adams did for ordinary people in this country. I know what Tom Adams did when he said that he was not going to let in Hertz or Avis, and he was going to leave the ground transport sector, Horace, for people like your family to have taxis so you can pass it on as a living, as a license to your children. I know what he did when he said Bajans can't cook, we don't need McDonald's and all of them out here. And that protected many a family to be able to finance their homes and to be able to go in and literally send their children to school and move from working class to lower middle income to middle income in this country. And of God, blessed flame and notoriety, fame. When he passed the Tenantries Freehold Act, he made many a man a real man and many a woman a real woman. And in one fell swoop with the writing of a pen, he turned around centuries of sufferation for tens of thousands of Bajans in this country, giving people access to land at 10 cents a square foot. I want the young people in this audience to listen to me, because I am the first to tell you and to flex with you when the time comes to other things. But if you don't know where you're coming from, you can't know what you're losing and where you're going to. And when the time came, therefore, to make the choice, when Henry Ford said, come, 30 years ago this year, I joined the Barbados Labour Party. And the next year, I started a relationship with the people of St. Michael Northeast. It hurts my heart tonight not to have Vivian Goodman here, or Mike Sinclair, or Carmen Grimes, or George Arthur Smith, or James Franklin. I could go on all night calling names, because these are the people that helped raise me in public life. Your sister, Lavon Cheryl. But you know what stuck with me? When I eventually became the Member of Parliament in 1994, the same Reverend Hatch came to me and gave me a card. And for the first time tonight, I will share with you what was on that card when I became a Member of Parliament and a Minister of the Crown. It was the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. And it read, as you well know, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, my young man, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light, Anton. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. You will never, ever have to ask, what is my approach to representation and leadership in this country. That guided me in the Ministry of Education when I saw that children were having children and we needed to put money in parental education, something that has stopped in this country tonight, and hence the indiscipline that we see across our land. That guided me in being willing to listen. And you heard Eddie tonight talk about the instrument of oppression that the ministry has come against teachers. And I knew that I had to listen to teachers and principals, because teachers are people too. Principals are people too. And that very often we need to get in there and listen and resolve issues. That we need to pardon and forgive. That guided me in understanding what policemen faced in this country every day, and that they needed gyms and that they needed flexibility allowances to compensate them for the hard, arduous hours, or that if they fell in their line of duty, that their family could receive something in this country to compensate them for their loss. That helped me when the prison burned, to be decisive and to be forthright, and to understand that even as we did that, we had to communicate with the people of this country, because when you talk with people, Frondel, people understand what to do and how to plan. I was proud to serve in a Barbados Labour Party under Owen Arthur. I was proud to be part of a mission that extended the benefits of the Tenantries Freehold Purchase Act to the urban tenantries. Over 3,000 people, yes, Jeffrey, allowed to buy land at $250 in this country when the market price was $75,000, feeling as though they had won lotto under the Barbados Labour Party. 3,000 people. I was proud, Toppin, when you stood up in Parliament and laid the Fair Trade Commission Act and the Utilities Regulation Act and the Consumer Protection Act, because I knew that the people of Barbados would come to benefit from a new economy that was premised on fairness. And if you doubted it, look at the Fair Trading Commission decision against BNTCL with the sale of the terminal that this wicked government wants to foist on you without ensuring fairness to all the parties. So I was proud to be a BLP. But you know, that was the first part. And the mission continues. And I always knew that the mission of my generation would be to carry it to the next level. Grantley and Tom and Owen made sure that we could deal with the physical aspects of education and labor and housing. But we were supposed to set targets. We were supposed to be able to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. That's why I walked into that song. That's why I keep Bob on my phone, to remind me of that mission of emancipating ourselves from mental slavery. And of the other thing, what does it profit a man to gain the world and to lose his soul? Are you with me so far? I, therefore, have come to tell people that when you see me, it is about helping mothers to stop earning a nickel while spending a dime. Or in the words of Buju, for it not to be an opportunity as a scarce commodity in this country now. Because that is what this government has bequeathed us. I have come to tell you that when you see me or my members sit down with business people, it is not to discuss a 5% or 10% top-up, but it is to understand what can they do to progress Barbadians in this country and to grow this economy and to make your life better. I have come tonight to tell you that whether it is seeing people in the bus stand, waiting hours, wondering whether they're going to be able to hold the job, not because they got a wicked employer, but because the employer has a dependent who needs somebody there, and if the employer don't get to work, the employer can lose the job too. I have come to tell you that we must make a difference in this land. And whether, Danny Boy, it is to you and your daughter, or to the Lisas in front of me, or whether it is to all of the people, Reverend Beverly, that you got to pastor to in Caveville down the road, or whether Jeffrey or Eddie or Indar, it is to the people who depend on you now because your presence means hope for them. We have come to say it must change, and we are here to make that defining difference. And let it be known that wherever there is human suffering in this country, and wherever there are people without a voice, we are going to be there. And it might not be easy to solve it, but we are going to work our damnness to solve it for the people of this country. And why? Because we must defend the public interest. And the public interest requires fairness. We were taught to support the underdog in this country. Bajans like fairness. Bajans don't like people trampling on people like, oh, you see Mark Maloney and Chris Sinclair and all of them trampling on people in this country. We were also taught that when you see money spent on corruption, it means they can't buy buses, they can't buy garbage trucks. Let us get real. So when I tell you that I am inspired equally by the Gospel of John, chapter 10, and I read in the Gospel that Jesus was inspired that the Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep, and that the hired hand runs away because he does not care for the sheep. I am inspired by what we have to offer. And my friends, that is why the fairness of the Boundaries Commission in this Commonwealth Citizens Matter bothers me. Because you are not interested as a Boundaries Commission in the ruling of the Chief Justice, you are now interested in a political outcome to stop people from voting in this country. So my friends, I tell you tonight that I have come also to let you know that there are some mission critical things that me and my team must deal with. And we know it. We will be the first government that will have to deal with so many mission critical things. Whether it is the foreign reserves, or the debt, or the arrears owed by this government to so many businesses and households, or no buses, or no garbage trucks, or the blacklisting of our international business sector, or the treating of people at A&E in accident and emergency, almost like if they don't have feelings. The indiscipline of the young people, and the use of automatic weapons on our streets so that we hear about drive-by shootings. These are the things that the Barbados Labour Party is coming to fix and to remedy in this country. And when we finish with those crisis issues, it must be about transformation. It must be about making this country a better place in which to live. It must be about letting our young people feel that they can aspire to greatness, that they can be Bajans at home, but with a global reach. And whether it is youngsters that we see doing well in sports or culture, or just ordinary boys wanting to make a living for the family, we will be there for all of them. We are not going to be like the Prime Minister who comes to cabinet every week with empty hands and an empty brain and leaves every week with the same empty hands and an empty brain but a full belly. We're not going to be like him. And I say to you tonight that we are going to make sure that our people work Because without working every day, not waffling, not stopping and wondering or speed wobbling, basic things can be fixed. And you know, it is for this reason that I believe that I have the team for the times. I have people in this team who have already walked away from jobs paying them more than a cabinet minister's job could ever pay them. I have people in this team who represent every aspect of society and economic endeavor in this country. We were told that Barbados is not just a society, an economy, it is a society. Well, they have mashed up both the economy and the society, and I have assembled a team to build back both. And I know that we will be entering into uncharted territory. But we also have people who have come to public life, not just like Marsha Cattle, not less like Ryan Strachan, not just like Kirk Humphrey, not just like John King, not just like Peter Phillips, not just like Sonia Brown, all of the youngsters who have come. But we have people like Indar Ware who have been assaulted and targeted in his business only because he dared to join the Barbados Labour Party. We have people like Santia who could be making a lot of money in this country if she was just practicing law and dealing with entertainment, but she has chosen to come and represent people. We have people like Eddie Hinkson who could be a judge on any high court, any part of the Caribbean. We have people like Jeffrey Bostic who has distinguished himself. General. We have people in this party like Dale Marshall and George Payne who understand that their business is still about preserving the people of the rural society in the Scotland district when so many have come to town. We have people like Colin Jordan who have said that he is prepared to come and share his expertise and who could focus purely on the church, he and Bishop Joe. But they understand the importance of rooting a government and a party, and as men of God, they have come to join us too. We have people like Sandra Husbands who help small businesses in this country. When you hear Sandra's name, you hear small business. We have people like Neil Rowe, who knows that he is up against a Goliath, but this is one time that the Goliath can come falling down. We have people like Arthur Holder, who distinguishes himself every day fighting for justice for people. And people like Trevor Prescott, who will not rest until the people of Licorice Village and the Bell are given their fair due to be full citizens of Barbados. And Cynthia Ford, who feels, literally, feels for the people, families, and single mothers and single fathers. We have people like Charles Griffith, who work from block to block to block to block, leading youth in this country. We have people, my friends, like Dwight Sutherland, who could be general manager of Arawak Cement Plant today, but is instead with us today. We have Glenn Clark still to put a steady hand. When I tell you that we have a team for the times, believe you me. And what do the Dems have instead? Men that could not fix themselves or go anywhere to be part of a team. John Boyce, where was he? Dennis Lowe, who was he working for? Count them out. All of them struggling to make a living, struggling to get professional recognition, and holding on now for dear life. We are in 90 days, and you ask, what are they holding on to and for whom? So my friends, when I say to you that we have a team, it is because the team is ready. But this team is ready to govern for the future. And the Public Accounts Committee report, which you need to read, the red bag is here tonight, but I ain't dealing with it tonight. I can just I'm gonna just tease you. I am not here tonight to deal with that. But I want you to know that I will not be the kind of leader who signs contracts in hiding and don't tell the public what I've signed in your name. Like Cahill, Prime Minister. I want you to know that I will not be the kind of leader who signs and has people sell property belonging to the government and you read about it by the front page, Chris Sinclair. And I want you to know that I will not ever tell the country in a budget speech in Parliament that I signed the agreement a few days ago, but failed to tell them that the conveyance was signed on the 29th of December 2014, and it was registered in March 10th, 2015, a full 15 months and 18 months before you tell us you signed something a few days ago, Chris Sinclair. But I have, you know me, a simple question. Who was paid the money? When was the money paid? Was the 60 million US in the two conveyances ever paid at all? And if it was ever paid at all, when and to whom was it paid? Stay tuned, my friends. I have come here tonight to tell you that we will lead a country where people will not be treated as first and second class citizens in this country again. And topping the notion that we will only deal with people of a certain background or people who, to consolidate wealth in this country, must go out the window. Or that poor people must not have to beg to get roads done or to get a house in this country, or there must not be any work for work in Barbados again. I have come here tonight to tell you that we are focused and we are ready. And whenever and however, Frondel, you bring that time, we shall be ready. I am comforted that I have a team that is ready for the times. I am comforted by my faith, and I am guided by the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, as I was then, as I shall be now. I am driven by passion. If I start a job, as Jeffrey told you, I don't stop it. And I come also to tell you that I stand tonight inspired, as I always have been, by another Bajan woman. And that Bajan woman helped people and lived by the simple motto, unbought and unbossed. Her name was Shirley Chisholm. She became the first woman ever, black woman, to run for the presidency of the United States of America in 1972. I am nurtured by you, my people, and I am buoyed by the memories of those who have gone to a better place. This is a lonely journey, but I am ready, I am focused, and I am prepared to make it in your name for the betterment of this country. I have come tonight to start this long journey because it has been for such a time as this to work with you, to return pride to our country, to return pride to Bajans in the language of Satchmore so that we can say, I am a proud Barbadian, to fight poverty and to fight injustice, and to fight the building of concrete jungles, to bring back fairness to this our land so that people in Swan Street don't get humbugged while Leroy Paris walk free and fair in this land without anybody humbugging him. To usher back opportunity for young people so that your children don't feel that there's 2 and 3 Barbaduses both here because they only know the Barbados of the last decade, not the one that Grant Lee or Tom or even Owen helped usher in. I have come to protect our land and our seas. I used to remember cobblers in my foot as a child and using soft candle to bring out the cobblers. Young people don't know about that because the reef's dying. I have come to let you sleep easier when the night comes, so you don't have to worry about how you're going to make bills pay in this country, or how you're going to get your child to university, or how you're going to get through in the land that born you. I have come, my friends, to stick to my original mission that I dreamt of as a child, to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. I have come to tell you that what this Democratic Labour Party leaves us tonight may be a nightmare, but it shall not be our destiny, nor shall it be what we will bequeath to our children when you give us the chance to make that difference. Tomorrow, our parliament dies, and we will start the process of giving the people of Barbados the real choice. A team that is ready to stop the bleeding and to transform our nation, or a team that is purely about self-aggrandizement and selfish reasons, as we have seen in the last decade. So that whenever the day is called, remember this, it will not be an easy road. And the fork in the road is the one that you will make an impact on generations of Barbadians to come. Use your vote wisely. And Trevor, I apologize if I trampled on your time tonight, but I have to say these words to our people, because there is a difference between the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party and all of the rest. And it is the message that you must carry to the people of this country, what that difference is. And I know that I ain't no Frondel and Frondel ain't no Mia, so that there's a difference between us. This next election, my friends, is for our country. It is for Barbados that you will vote. It is for your children. It is for our land, which has been good to us. It is for the land which we love. This journey starts tomorrow night. Let us put the last lost decade behind us. And let us move forward in strength, with focus, with purpose, with compassion, with pride, that we can make it if we try. Good night, and God bless you.
Labour Party family, the next Prime Minister of Barbados